All right, roll out the mats. It's time for us to look back at the 23-24 wrestling season, one that was dominated by a traditional power and ended with gold at the state championships. A look at the final wrestling standings for the season. South Carroll put together an undefeated winter. The Cavaliers won a third straight 1A dual state title along the way. Manchester Valley had a stellar year as well, and Liberty took third in the CCAL standings by season's end. There were 14 co-ed wrestlers crowned as county champs at the annual county tournament that took place February 16th at Westminster High School. We can check them out right here, the winner of each weight class and their final record on the season. Grayson Barnhill didn't lose a match and capped his sophomore year with a state title. Liberty's Dylan Oler made it to a state final before he finished second after becoming a three-time county champ. The upper weight saw Man Valley's Crew Boog become a three-time county champion as well. Kevin Kern gave Liberty a second co-ed county champion when the sophomore won at 190 pounds. South Carroll finished with 8 county champions, so now it's time to dive a little deeper into the Cavaliers season. I'm joined in studio by South Carroll wrestling coach Bryan Hamper. Coach, appreciate your time today. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
South Carroll went 26-0 in dual meets this winter and captured a third straight Class 1A state duals championship. The Cavaliers also won the Carroll County tournament and crowned 4 individual champs at the annual state tournament back in early March. Coach, the Cavaliers silenced all the doubters. It may or may not have been me earlier in the season. I don't really remember. But anyway, you graduated a lot of top-notch guys from a year ago. When did you know this year's team had something special?
So we knew right away, with the guys coming in and the guys we returned, there was going to be a special team. Obviously, losing the 4 seniors that we did and losing Manny Rodriguez, a returning state finalist, to an injury in a football season, we knew that was going to hurt. But we really believed with what we had in the room coming back and then also the new guys coming in that we'd have a great fit.
And it was super impressive. 4 state champs this year, Grayson Barnhill, JoJo Gelati, Bryan Hamper, Anthony Rodriguez, all those guys being on the mat were special moments. But to be there on the mat with your son with a state title, I know there were some tears shed that day. How sweet was that?
It was exciting. Really going into that match, I knew that he had a great opportunity to get to his scoring offense. And if he could do that, he was going to have a great night. And, all of those guys being sophomores, it was exciting. Bringing those guys back, having those 4 to anchor that lineup. It's a pretty special group of kids, and we're excited about what they have done and then what's to come.
Yeah, the new Big Four, as they were called afterward. A young squad, we just talked about it, that looks to return pretty much everybody from this year, and you're going to add even more youth to in the year to come. Where does South Carroll go from here? You've been undefeated now with the duels. You're racking up dual meet state titles, and you're getting individual state champs. Where can you guys go from here?
I think we're just starting to scratch the surface of where we can really be. Wow. I believe that the kids every year are going to be a better version of themselves, and then when that happens, they bring everybody in the room up a level, and that's what you got to see with our young kids this year. Is last year, they were battle tested. They had those goes in the room every day with those seniors that have now gone to college and are having successful college careers.
Right.
They got to beat up on those kids every single day in the room. And, you're just going to get better with that type of atmosphere and the guys with that type of work ethic. And we're excited about our young kids. They bought in early that, hard work was the way to go. And, really, when you have young kids, it's important to get to them early to be able to, show them what the level of training looks like. And to have a leader like JoJo in the room, he pretty much sets that standard. And, that's a lot of weight to carry as a sophomore, but he stepped up all along the way and has really, kind of set that standard for what a South Carroll wrestler is supposed to be.
Yeah. Well, speaking of those guys, it's time to unveil our finalists for Co-Ed Wrestler of the Year. And we have 3 wrestlers Coach Hamper knows quite well. JoJo Gelati, Grayson Barnhill, and Anthony Rodriguez. That's 3 of South Carroll's 4 state champs. Let's start with Grayson Barnhill, put together an undefeated season at 34-0 with 30 pins. Barnhill won county, region, and state titles as a sophomore. JoJo Gelati, another sophomore, posted a 51-1 record. He lost only to a non-Maryland opponent. Gelati had 39 pins, won his 2nd career state championship back in early March. Anthony Rodriguez, also a sophomore, won his state title in a thrilling overtime match. Rodriguez went 47-3 with 30 pins this season for South Carroll. Coach Hamper, quick thoughts on each wrestler. Start with Grayson Barnhill, you lightweight.
Grayson's just a pinning machine. Grayson's one of those guys that he's kind of embraced that mantra of, we don't get paid by the hour. We go out there, get after it, get off the mat. Bad things happen when you let kids, stick in matches that too long. And he really gets to his attacks, and he feels very comfortable. And he's a strong kid. At that weight, he's just a powerful machine. And put together as impressive postseason as I've ever seen.
He was barely on the mat, and he racked up 12 wins or whatever it was, 10 wins, and obviously a state title. JoJo Gelati, we talked about him already, and just how impressive he's been in his first 2 seasons.
You know, what's impressed me so much about JoJo this year was just the maturity that he showed on the mat. You know, everybody when they wrestle JoJo is going to try to give them his best effort, and he chased down every hard match all year long. He beat multiple state champions, and you know, did it in dominating fashion. You know, he's one of those guys that can score from any position, and you know, in addition, like his leadership qualities this year is what stood out from years past. And being a sophomore, stepping up like that was a crucial part of our success.
And then Anthony Rodriguez, a guy who was following in his brother's footsteps. How did you see him perform this year?
I was so excited about Anthony this year. You know, we call him Tank, but Tank really kind of stepped out of his shell. You know, he's his brother's big shoes to fill. You know, coming from a guy like AJ who had the career he had, and then Manny, who's just been dominant in his time as well. And this was a chance for Ant to get out there and show what he had, and he had a phenomenal season. And being that guy in the upper weights that we can look to for big matches and big points, you know, it was a huge anchor point of our lineup, and he did a phenomenal job all year long.
Yeah, those guys and many more. Coach Hamper, thanks for spending some time with us. Congrats on another great season.
I appreciate it.
Yep. Want more local sports coverage? Be sure to like us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel.